These are some tips and tricks that you might find helpful as you work on your second project, the My Interest site. If you look at my web page 6, you'll see I have nice clean code. However, it's not quite as happy about my Interest site because I have some old code that's no longer supported in here. So I'm going to fix that. And I don't have a fav icon, so I'm going to remove that code along with all these lines that it was complaining about and replace it with the new code. It looks like I have that doubled up. Now let's take a look at it. And now it's happy with that page. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do that on all of my pages, all of my HTML pages. Another issue that people sometimes have is with their CSS and caching. Let's say I have a problem where I've changed my CSS document. For example, I'm adding the Fofer font, and it's not working for one reason or another. If I'm not sure what the problem is, it could be a caching issue. A good way to solve that is to close the document and rename this document to something new. I'm going to call it music underscore v2. Now every page that I have that references that needs to be changed. So I really only want to work on one page at once. And then this, which I've shown you as a little trick that you can change to different things, is not really necessary, but it doesn't hurt anything either. So I'm going to leave this at 001 and save that and go to my index page, which I happen to have right here. And it looks like it's still loading. So let's change something on the CSS document. I'm going to look for a background. And that's a general background for the whole site. Let's change that to red. And voila, it is red. So I can see now that my site is changing with the different CSS, but if I was having trouble where it didn't change, then I could either change this number to something new, or I could give it a whole new document. So let's give it a whole new document again. I'm going to call it version 3. It's kind of tricking your web browser. See, your web browser knows that it downloaded music underscore v2, but it doesn't know that it's ever downloaded music underscore v3. Now I need to close that because it was version 2. And let's open v3. And we're going to search for the background color again. And it is already back to normal. So it's time to reload. And here I'm going to do Command-Shift-R, which forces a reload for my browser. If you have a Windows machine, it would be different. I'm going to search for Windows Chrome hard refresh. And here's a solution that says Control plus F5. That might work on your machine. And it's different for different Windows versions and different machines, so you can't just say one fits all. But this site definitely likes the Control plus F5. Another issue that's cropped up from some people is when they add their own font, like this font face here, this name is what's referenced, and this is the actual file. So if I go into my fonts folder, you see that I have fofer.otf, and that matches up with this fonts folder and then fofer.otf. Now I can call this anything I want to inside there. So I could call it Biggity Boo. And then this would need to be, everywhere that I had Fofer would need to be Biggity Boo. And I don't really need the 1942 font anymore, so I'm going to remove that. Now if it can't find the Biggity Boo font, it's going to use sans serif or sans serif, depending on how you like to pronounce it. Another thing I'd like to show you is with images. Here I have an image called IMG4263. This is a shot of the band. I'm going to rename that. I hope you're enjoying the saxophone in the background. That's my son playing. Remember, spaces on the web are a bad idea for pictures. I created an images folder. I'm going to put this another shot of the band in there. And now I'm going to add that to a web page. And let's just work on the index page still. Now let's say for some reason you want to change that image and it's not changing when you reload your browser or even when you force reload it with the Command-Shift-R. The solution would be to go into your images folder and rename that. I'm going to call it yet another shot of the band. Now I need to change my reference to that in my code. And when I reload the page, it should still load. One last problem that I've noticed from some people is with their font. I'm going back to the font now. Is sometimes they have a comma there, and it needs to be a semicolon, and it needs to be the source URL with that full path specified like that. And this should be whatever the font name is. Well, I hope that helps you get working on your My Interest project.